Welcome to Talk TV with Tiffany's podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany. When I'm not watching TV, I'm talking about it. Recently, I had the pleasure of chatting with Downward Dog showrunners Likkel and John Hoberg. In this fun excerpt from our candid conversation, they take us behind the scenes of Timothy Omundson's episode, Acceptance. They reveal the inspiration for his guest starring role as Eric, highlight some of the fun Gallivant Easter eggs hidden within the episode, and address the show's meaningful themes. All right, let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, that's such a great episode, and I was wondering, did you guys write the role of Eric with Tim in mind? Because, I mean, it is kind of creepy that he is like an older version of Jason with the look, you know, the hair and everything. So I'm like, was it planned, or did it just happen?
No, so obviously we loved Tim, and we had a version of that fourth episode that just wasn't working. It had to do with the dog park, but then it just kind of fell apart a little bit. It became about the community and kind of a battle in a community. And so we decided, you know what, we only have 8 of these. We want to make sure we love them.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat and I had just seen a picture of Tim. I don't remember what it was. He had sent something, one of his goofy pictures, like him goofing around. And then we're like, God, he looks like an older, more sophisticated Jason.
Yeah.
And we were talking to Sam and Michael about it, and we're all like, that's a great story that she dates what she thinks is the better version of Jason. And it really fit in perfectly to this thought that she's trying to better herself. You know, and it's like, in our minds, like, what she needed to learn is, like, you can still be successful and date a Jason. You don't need to get a better boyfriend to kind of step up to where you want to be. Like, you can define success however you want to do it. She's got to kind of get the confidence to believe that about herself. But, so it felt like the perfect thing for her to try on someone fancy and discover that, Jason actually is probably the better fit. And it was. It all came from seeing Tim. You know, they look so similar. And they have a lot of traits that are similar. So it was like, okay, well, let's build it around Tim.
And then, Lucas, when Tim showed up, was like, are you guys trying to send me a message?
What did Lucas say about his wife?
He said, Tim walked into the table read, and Jason went, now I get what my wife keeps telling me about how I should look.
Well, Tim showed up because we told him, show up as debonair Tim a little bit for the table read.
Adorable.
To sell that. And so Tim, of course, when he wants to go debonair, goes full debonair.
Mm-hmm.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, he sure has great style. I love it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
For sure. But, and Tim and Allison together, I just love Tim's character. I just thought it was such a well-played role. And what was really important to all of us, and this kind of goes back to how Kat and I feel, and then this was something that was compatible with Sam and Michael, is we all like people to be redeemed somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no, even Kevin, there's no real bad guys, and so I think the easy thing in that episode would have been to make Tim a total idiot, a jerk. And we really liked how we were able to, and Tim was able to make the kind of that moment where he realizes, okay, this is why you don't love me, and then he calls for his dog to cuddle with him.
Yeah.
Where you sort of feel for him, you know?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry, because who commands a dog to cuddle?
I think that character went on. It's like this was a little learning place for him. This is a moment where he learned something, and that in another season you have Tim come back, and he's a little more laid back, and, maybe he does really give Jason a run for his money, or, but it'd be funny to see, pull people back in from season 1 and see where they are now after having, Tim had his eye, Tim's character had his eyes a little opened by oh my God, who am I? And see where that's gone.
If there's more, we would definitely want Eric to come back.
Yeah, well, it'd be fun.
And then we had to cut some really funny jokes for him just for time. And honestly, the show, when we would do strings of jokes, didn't feel the same. And so it's like you kind of had to make sure you're not over joking. But we had this thing where when Allison walks in, Nan comes in, sees the house is blown away, and then she looks at a picture that's on the mantle, and it's Eric in hiking gear.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, that's when we, when I climbed, I forget which mountain it was.
K2?
No,
Machu Picchu?
Some other mountain. He's like, which is technically further from the Earth's center, which actually means it's more challenging than Everest, which is all bullshit. And then she's like, wow. He goes, yeah, it was tough. We lost a Sherpa. And Allison was like, oh, my God. He's like, yeah, I mean, he didn't die. He just wandered out of camp. But we found him again. So it was a really funny element to this character that he's just totally delusional about how great he is.
Yeah, well, and how everything has to be so pristine and clean. So, of course, Martin crapping all over his floor would, throw him into a tizzy. And he's like, I guess I am uptight, But,
yeah, for sure.
But it's funny, too, because it also shows, it goes back to, like, the theme of the show itself, how, the dog and owner relationship and how they're parallels and they kind of mirror each other. It's like Hunter was an, anal dog because of, Eric. So Martin's kind of like, and when both...
Hunter might not be enjoying, that strict lifestyle. It's like Martin thinks he must love it all, but then it's like, wait, what's going on? He doesn't play.
Yeah, and then when they're left alone, it's like, Martin's like, yeah, so this is like chilling time, and Hunter's just sitting there waiting. And he's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
And then...
That's sort of Martin's big struggle through this season is partially like he takes himself very seriously and wants to be like this, one of the great minds of his generation, but he's drawn to wanting to be a dog and play. And I think that's kind of what Nan's going through too. It's like she's wanting to be this important person, but she's drawn to wanting to be with her friends and have fun, and it's that same struggle they're both going through.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like it's, sort of that thing we all struggle with is what's more important in life? Is it attaining success, or is it really the road along the way? That's most important. And I think that sort of Martin struggles with that, and by extension, or hearing what Martin is thinking, you're following Nan's journey as she's discovering that as well.
Mm-hmm. And also being true to yourself too, because Nan comes in with these great ideas at work, and her boss Kevin just doesn't get it, and he keeps trying to turn everything into something superficial, and that's why I really like the episode too, where Martin goes to work with Nan, and it's like Kevin has his own awakening, and so does Nan too, because we learn more about Kevin, and he's not just like a tool, that he seems to be, and he has his own issues, which was kind of cool. Kevin sort of kind of was like Martin in that episode. They were both just like sad and lost and, looking for something new and reassurance.
It's true. Even to the point where it's like he's also, Martin's feeling like his relationship, he's not loved, and there's this really brief moment where Kevin is talking to his wife on the phone, and she's clearly treating him like shit. And, you kind of get that sense that they're tied together that way, too.
Yeah. And then he, wants to use the dog and ruin the plan, So then you're like, oh, just when...
What's funny is what ended up happening, because the Nan's whole plan was about putting something original that hasn't been done before through the system.
Right.
And how hard it is to kind of fight the system. And we were all kind of, including the network and studio, all suffering to try to figure that out, to do something so different. So it's almost like we were living the work story as we were doing the work story, which actually helped with the work story to keep it authentic.
Yeah, because we are seeing the world through dog's eyes, with that unconditional love. And I guess and which teaches you more about self-love. So, no, it's so clever again. It's another show with like layers upon layers of, just emotion and relatability and engaging characters and, humor and heart and everything. So.
Well, I think for us, the way we approach, we did this season 2 of Galavan, and it's the way we approach this, figuring out the season, is that idea of, and you can see it easiest in King Richard, of starting someone at, say, at a low point, and then by the end of the season, you start with the guy who's the buffoon, and you're going to turn him into the one true king. And with Allison, we're starting with someone who is not confident. She has a great idea, but she's not confident enough to stand up for that idea and who she really is deep down inside, and thinks she needs to kind of, at the beginning, she's trying to put on these airs of like she's successful, and that's why she dumps Jason in some ways. And we bring her to the point where she is confident in who she is, and she can decide what she wants to do with her life. And so we kind of, it's a more subtle climb
Yeah, and I know you guys tweeted it out too, but fans are already excited to see the little Gallivant Easter egg in episode 4 with Gareth's jousting dogs painting. Did you?
We actually have the original in our office at Disney.
Oh, you do?
From England.
That's awesome. Did you guys throw any other little Easter eggs in there from Gallivant that we should look out for?
When they're looking at the webpage for Eric in episode 4, and they're just Nan and Jen had pulled up Eric's webpage where it's like a picture of him sitting there with a microphone in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you zoom in on that text, which is
that's it. I'm sorry, I forgot that's what it was.
There's sort of this sort of chuffa of Eric is has won a Daytime Emmy Award for his work, blah 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 blah, and then we snuck in there and also played King Richard in the ABC series.
Oh my God! Okay, I have to totally zoom in on that.
Yeah, so you have to freeze frame, get a picture. Super zoom. It's very small.
It might be hard to do on the stream that you're getting, but when you see it on the big TV, hopefully people will see it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And also just a little thing, like all the pictures of Eric on that webpage are Tim's actual pictures from speaking at events and things like that. So,
from the conventions and stuff?
Yeah, I called Tim up and asked him to send us just as many pictures as he could, and we trolled through them all until we found the ones
that around his house too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, all the ones like on the counters around his house it's hilarious. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, then people will look very closely at that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll be getting lots of tweets. Oh, that's so fun.
Did you catch all of the Easter eggs they mentioned? If so, send me a tweet of those freeze frames at TalkTVWTiffany. I'd love to see all of the Gallivant goodies you spotted and hear your thoughts on Tim's big episode. Downward Dog airs Tuesday nights at 8 on ABC. I encourage you all to live tweet along with Kat, John, and the whole Downward Dog gang. It's always a blast. Until next time, happy watching! Welcome to Talk TV with Tiffany's podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany. When I'm not watching TV, I'm talking about it. Recently, I had the pleasure of chatting with Downward Dog